What up, people? This is kind of an interesting video, I suppose. I recently bought myself a new toy, and that's exactly what you're looking at right now. To be very exact, it's the DJI Phantom2 Vision Plus, which is a quadcopter, or a drone, as some people like to call it. I suppose I call it the drone myself a lot of times too. But yeah, well, this is the first time I'm ever using it. I trying it out with someone else watching over me as well. Although I do have to say, during this video, you won't really see a whole lot of flying. It's most of the time it's just hovering still. I'm trying to kind of figure out what the controls are and how it reacts to certain inputs and that kind of stuff, because yeah, it's new thing, it's interesting. And yeah, well, another thing is that during this video, or during this well, flying session, or whatever you want to call it, I had some issues with my phone app, because how it works is that the camera on this thing, it records this video to the micro SD card which is inside it, but it also sends the video straight towards my Wi-Fi extender on my controller, which then sends it over to my phone, which I've attached to my controller, so I can have a live feed, or at least that's supposed to be working that way, of the view from the drone. So I can pretty much look down at my controller, and I would see exactly this image that you're seeing right now, this video, as I'm flying the thing. However, for some reasons, it was just like hanging. The video just stopped working. I still saw an image. It was just like looking at a photo, basically. So that's kind of strange. I still have to look into that, why that is. If you people out there who are watching this video right now, if you are experienced with drones, and if you have a DJI Phantom2 Vision Plus yourself, and if you know what the issue might be, then let me know, because I'm still looking for it as we speak, as I'm still uploading this video right now. And yeah, so the reason why I bought this thing is that some point I was watching a few videos of people using these things, and I have always been into something that has to do with air, like helicopters, airplanes, whatever. So back in like a lot of years ago, actually, I don't even know how many years ago that was. I owned, first of all, I owned like a little airplane. It's nothing special, like a cheap ass toy that could barely even fly. You know, it was made out of foam, or I'm not sure how you call it in English, but it was just a cheap ass thing, and with every single kind of gust or wind you have, it already flew into a tree or whatever. And after that, I also had a little toy helicopter, which was also a little plastic cheap thing that could barely even keep in the sky. Like it was just flying out of itself pretty much. It didn't really have much control, and even that control was just too difficult for me to even fly that thing. So that thing crashed a lot, and it eventually just died. But now, a lot of years later, I decided to buy myself a drone. And, well, for multiple reasons. Although this where I'm filming right now, as you can see, it's my the city where I live at. And although I live here for more than 23 years, it's always interesting and always new to see the things that you've always known and always seen before from different angles, aka the sky. Because it's just really interesting to see. And as you can see in this video as well, maybe you can see it a little bit later, there are a lot of interesting things around here that I could eventually film. The reason why I didn't do that this time is just because I didn't had my FPV first person view, as you may have noticed. So I wasn't really sure where my drone was in the 3D perspective. So I was just kind of keeping it really close to me because I didn't want to lose it out of my eyesight, and I didn't want to make it too far away because, of course, this is still my first time ever using these things. And just because, yeah, I didn't had a proper view on it, so it was kind of difficult to make out where the thing really was. Because very close at the end, I was actually going towards the smokestack you see on the right side of this parking lot over here. You'll probably see it sooner or later in the video as well. And I thought from the ground on it was pretty close to it, but now that I'm watching this video back, it's actually really far away still. So it's hard to see where your drone is when you're looking at the ground, but I suppose if my video feed is working correctly and I can actually look at my app on the phone and see from, the camera view, I could do so much more and awesome stuff with this. And that's exactly what I will do in a couple of days when also the weather is gone better, because I was really lucky today, actually, when I was recording this, because all morning it was raining and windy, and it was still windy when I was recording this, although you don't really recognize it and you don't really notice it on the video because of the GPS system that's on this drone that keeps the drone steady, and the 3-axis gimbal and stuff like that. But it was still kind of windy. So, yeah, I here actually tried to land it for the first time. It went pretty well, although it kind of skimmed on the ground here. But yeah, it stayed upright. So, yeah, lots of people have recommended to actually land on grass especially for the first time, because if you make a mistake on concrete, you're fucked. Okay, let me skip ahead here for a little bit. There we are. Back to the sky for round 2. And here I tried to fly a bit further away, and again I actually thought it was almost above those houses, but in reality I was only like above this parking lot over here. So yeah, that's I really hope I can fix this problem soon and I can make some way more awesome footage, especially like of boats coming past here. Maybe I can take a quick look at the church tower that's in the city, although it's above houses, and I'm not really sure whether or not I should fly above people's houses just randomly. I suppose if I go high enough and they don't notice it, it's fine, but I don't want to like invade people's privacy. That's the thing about flying these drones, is that you still have to respect other people around you, and you don't fly close to people. So I try to stay far away and try to just enjoy myself and make some awesome footage. Yeah, and there's also a massive bridge that I'm not sure if I saw it before in here, but I'm sure you can see it soon when I'm turning this thing around. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what else to say. It's just that these things are awesome. It's yeah, I'm happy with it, even though this is the first time ever using it, and I'm sure I will have a lot more fun with it too. I mean, not only my own city I can use it at, but I can just bring it along with everything. If there's an event somewhere, or if there's a party at a family or whatever somewhere, I can bring it along and I can shoot some videos from the sky, which is like freaking amazing. So I'm probably going to record more of these videos, especially once I've learned how to fly this thing better. Because this thing, as I said before, this thing has a GPS built inside it, which means that if you're not touching the controls, it will stay at the same spot in the sky. So it doesn't drag along in the wind because, like I said, it was still kind of windy in this day. But you don't really notice that because it's just so awesome. It really acts well against wind. Although I had the feeling that the wind might be a little bit too strong today because although I wasn't touching my controls, I would still notice it kind of dragged towards the water because the wind was well that direction, which is yeah, it was kind of north wind, I suppose. So yeah. All right, here I'm going a little bit down. Like I said, I'm still a newbie, so I wasn't really paying attention to the camera, pointing at the ground. So instead, I was like more like looking at the position of the drone itself because the camera wasn't working for me anyway. So that's why the video, like video angles, might not be really too cool, but. Here I try to circle around ourselves, and you also notice that I'm not really good at keeping us in the center because, yeah, not only is it hard to control this thing, well, it's not really hard, I would say. It's just like, it gets used to it. It takes time to get used to it. That's what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, it's definitely fun. It's easy to keep it in the sky. At least you don't really worry about crashing it because as long as you keep it in GPS mode and as long as you keep an eye on the amount of satellites that it's connected to, if that's remaining at least 6, you're always fine. You know, there's absolutely no chance to crash this unless you really do it yourself, as in you really fly into an object or you know something like that, because even if you fly too far away, this thing is so awesome that if you lose connection to it, for example, your either your controller is dead or you fly too far away and you lose connection to it, it has a built-in, it will use the built-in GPS system to find its home position. Its home position is marked when you turn it on and leave it on the ground for a couple of seconds to, you know, mark its home spot. It's as in where it takes off. And if your controls lose connection, it automatically switches to the fail-safe mode, which will make the drone return to the home spot and then slowly descend and automatically even land. Although automatically land is not always safe to use because it doesn't really fight against the wind. Like if the wind is too strong for the GPS to keep it on the same spot, you kind of have to, you know, counter the wind yourself with the controller. But of course, the fail-safe thing probably won't do that, so it's always recommended to land it yourself and not let it land automatically. Well, yeah. There's also 2 different ways of, you know, landing this thing eventually, and I used both of them. Like halfway this video, you saw me landing it just on the grass, like most people will probably do it. But I heard some people say the safest way to do this is to kind of make it hover above the ground, above your head, and then grabbing it with one arm and then holding the left stick down until the rotor stop fully with your other hand. And that's what I'm doing right here when, well, the video suddenly cuts off because I grabbed it in my hands and I turned off the Phantom. And I actually turned off the Phantom before I turned off the recording, so the recording went corrupt. But I managed to fix the recording, so yeah. Well, this is the end of the recording. It was roughly about 50-minute flight, although the thing can fly for the books say 25 minutes, but I always recommend to fly at least like 20 minutes and then head home, because you always need a certain battery level to return home and to land safely, because you don't want to lose battery level entirely when you're still in the sky. That would end up drastically. But yeah, it was very fun, and I really hope that I can fix that little issue I had with the video feed to my phone. And once I did that, I will certainly take it to the sky again and make some awesome footage. Thanks for watching. If you have some comments, leave it down below. I'm always happy to read them, and I will probably also always answer them. And well, I hope you'll see more of my videos. See you later, guys. Peace out.